All right, let's dive right in. We're going to crack the code on a number that so many of us see first thing in the morning, our fasting glucose. And I want you to think of it less like just some data point and more like a daily report card from your body. So let's start the investigation.
You know the drill, right? You prick your finger, you see a number, and you just kind of move on with your day. But what if that number is actually a secret message? What if it's telling you a whole story about everything that was happening inside your body while you were asleep? Well, that's the exact mystery we're going to solve today. So let's say you see a number like this pop up, 102. It seems super specific, maybe a little on the high side, but what does it really mean? This single number. It's our first clue. It's the starting point of a pretty fascinating deep dive into your metabolic health. Okay, so to really understand that morning number, we first have to look at what's going on when the lights are out. Believe it or not, your body runs this incredibly busy 24/7 operation. And the night shift, well, that's where we're going to find most of our clues. Our first internal suspect, if you will, is the liver. Think of it as your own personal 24/7 glucose factory. Overnight, its main job is to release a nice, steady stream of sugar into your bloodstream to keep your brain and body fueled up while you're fasting. But if that factory goes into overdrive, you can wake up with a higher number. Now, just making glucose isn't the whole story. Your body also has to use it. And that's where insulin comes in. It's like the gatekeeper. It's the key that unlocks your cells to let that glucose in for energy. But if your cells are resistant to insulin, that gate doesn't open so easily, and you end up with more sugar just kind of hanging around in your blood. And then there's this really fascinating thing called the dawn phenomenon. It's basically your body's natural alarm clock. Sometime between, say, 5 and 8 in the morning, hormones like cortisol are released to help you wake up. And one of the side effects? They tell your liver to release even more glucose, which can cause this little temporary spike right before you test. So let's line up our internal suspects, shall we? A high number in the morning could mean your liver's working a little too hard, or maybe you've got some insulin resistance going on, or it could just be that hormonal wake-up call. The point is, these three players are working together every single night. So what do these numbers actually tell us? Well, generally speaking, a fasting reading somewhere between 70 and 100 is considered normal. It's a pretty good sign your insulin is doing its job. But if you're consistently seeing numbers over 120, that might be a little warning sign that your body's struggling with insulin resistance. Okay, so we've met all the internal suspects, but that's only half the story, believe it or not. Now we need to go to the scene of the crime, the hours right before you went to bed. Because the choices you make the night before, they have a direct impact on that morning number. And honestly, the clues here are usually pretty simple. A late night pizza, a really heavy meal close to bedtime, a restless night of tossing and turning, or even just a glass of wine. All of these can throw your morning glucose way off. The key takeaway here is, if your numbers are high again and again, your evening habits are the very first place to start your investigation. Look, a single high reading can usually be explained away. Maybe it was that late night snack. But what we're really interested in is the pattern. One single clue doesn't solve a case, right? You need to see how the whole story unfolds over time. And this is why it all matters so much. A consistent pattern of high morning numbers is often the very first clue that your long-term blood sugar average, what's known as your A1C, is starting to creep up. This is a critical signal from your body. It's an early warning to maybe tweak your diet or get a little more active. So, we've looked at the clues, we've interviewed the suspects. Now it's your turn. It's time for you to put on your detective hat. Because the goal isn't just to collect a bunch of numbers, it's to understand the story they're telling you, and ultimately to solve your own glucose mystery. So here it is, your two-step detective kit. It's super simple. Step 1, gather your evidence. That just means tracking your morning numbers for about a week, maybe 10 days in a row. Step 2, and this is absolutely the most important part, find the pattern. Is it always high? Does it spike on certain days? That's where the real insight is waiting for you. If you only take one single thing away from all of this today, let it be this. A single number, that's just noise. The pattern, that's the signal. The trend over time is what actually gives you powerful, actionable information about your health. So that number on your meter, it is so much more than just a number. It's the first clue of the day. It's a direct message from your body. And the only question left is, what story is yours going to tell you tomorrow?